Hello, Powerhouse Smart friends and colleagues. This is my favorite thing to do all day long, all week long, is my Powerhouse Cool Collabs podcast. I get to select the best, coolest leaders in luxury design, build, development, and real estate. And I select them. It is a selection process based on their attitude towards collaboration, sharing, and giving without always expecting anything in return, and then living with an attitude of gratitude, and then finally, of course, giving back to help humanity. So today we have an awesome guest. He is a dear colleague of ours. This is Gordon Held, and he's going to share his story, really, which is an amazing deep dive I did earlier today, in our luxury design build industry. And instead of trying to introduce him, I love to turn it over to him since this is a 20-minute commutable podcast. I assure you, you're going to get some golden nuggets. So let us learn more about Gordon Held. Gordon, giving you the proverbial microphone. Share.
Okay, I got it. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for having me. You know how much I love you and everything we do at PowerHouse Smart.
Thank you,
And so I'm grateful to be here today. Thanks so much. And allow me to share some of my story, my
please.
past, and a little bit about what we do at Scott Byron and Company. And so I live on the northern Illinois, and I've been in Illinois since 1998. But I am not originally a Midwesterner. I'm a transplant. I was an East Coast kid, and I lived all over from, I was born in New York, lived in New Jersey, Massachusetts. We lived over in Spain for a period of time, just outside of Madrid, Virginia, North Carolina, the Hawaiian Islands. And so I've been around, but I came here in 1998, and I started my career in the green industry in golf courses. And so I was really in agronomy and turf management. And I really thought that I was going to spend my whole career in golf courses, either on the maintenance side or the design build side. And Wendy, I always had an itch to go to the Hawaiian Islands. And so when I got out of school, I spent about a year in Charlottesville, Virginia, and then I moved to the Hawaiian Islands. And when I got there, I was like, I'm not going to find a management role in golf courses over there. And so I pivoted really quickly. And that's how I got into landscaping, just funny enough. And so I started working in landscaping, so a whole different palette of plant life, of course, from what I studied. And I spent 3 years over there and learned an awful lot. And then I decided, this experience was wonderful, but it is time to move on. And so I ended up coming to the Chicagoland area. And I started working for an interior tropical plant company because why not? I just came from the tropics. And so I did that for 8.5 years. And then I really started missing the exterior world. And I jumped back into the exterior world and worked for a local commercial company for 11 and a half years. And they sold it in 2017. And I stayed for 2 more years and thought, I got to make a change. And so that's when Scott Byron entered my life. And it's so crazy too, when you talk about living with gratitude. I will
Mhm.
tell you that the individual that set me up in the meeting with Scott Byron was Andy Murray from Da Vinci. And so small world.
Yeah.
So Scott and I met and we aligned very quickly on how we think about the client experience and how we think about the employee experience and culture. And I joined his team in 2019 as his COO. And shortly after that, about close to a year after that, my now partner, Ken Williams, came into the organization as our CFO. And he and I and our founder, Scott, and his long-term partner, Andy, spent 2 years working on succession planning for the company. And
Mhm.
in 2024, February 1st of 2024, Ken and I became majority owners for Scott Byron and Company. And
Wow.
so for people who don't know who Scott Byron Company is, we are a full service landscape company that offers construction services, design services, maintenance services. Scott really started the company back in 1983, really with the intent of creating a luxury experience for clients through innovation, creativity, and unmatched service. And really, that's what we pride ourselves on. Our design work, our ability to take on projects that others might feel too challenged to take on, and then really delivering a concierge service as part of that. We're based out of Lake Bluff, uh, Illinois, and have been for years, but we also have an office on the south side of Milwaukee that handles all of our Wisconsin territory, and we have an office on the north side of Chicago that handles our Chicago and Michigan territories. We also offer destination work to our clients. We just finished a project in Nantucket. We are going to Connecticut here shortly, and we'll be going to Miami sometime this year as well. And as you well know, Wendy, we have interest in other territories as we came to the first ever Powerhouse Smart Conference in Naples, which was fabulous. We met a lot of great people, learned a lot about the market, and so we're considering Naples as well as an opportunity to expand. And so that's kind of a little bit about us.
Well, that's a great snapshot. I know there's a lot of deeper dive we could do in that
Yeah,
whole story because so many things that you said that I wrote down I wanted to chat about. You know, the Hawaii aspect was a really interesting starting point, but golf courses to luxury residential
yeah.
landscaping for both. You do residential and commercial, Gordon?
Yeah, we are mostly residential. We do very little commercial. Our primary focus is residential.
Okay, so I want to tell the audience that, you know, Gordon is just being very humble. Scott Byron and Company, from my very early days back in the 80s, I was the vice president of a design build firm in the Illinois market, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan, just like originally Scott Byron started. And this was one of the elite landscape architecture design build firms. Scott had such an amazing reputation, and we often were thrilled when we were working on a design build client, and we were able to bring them in as one of our, you know, design build partners and that whole collaboration aspect. So it was just so exciting to hear that you were joining a company that already had built a great reputation locally. And
Mhm.
locally, you know, we spread those roots out a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
but and now you and Ken are taking it to the next level with a lot of the original players. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's great, Wendy. We have a wonderful experienced team. We have 275 employees. 91 of them have a tenure of an average of 20 years.
Wow,
And
that's
so we are
incredible.
very fortunate. But we've had a lot of growth since 2019, and we've added a lot of new talent as well. And so we're excited for the mix of the people who have been with the organization for many years and supported Scott Byron and Company to the people who are now just joining us.
Yeah, and I believe I love that, and I know that. Well, here I just want to say, last year we did a Powerhouse Smart event with you. You were our hosts, and we ended up doing a very large project tour of a 7 or 8 acres parcel that your firm has been doing from the very beginning in the 90s all the way to today. And Scott himself joined, so it's just a testament to you and your ability to lead and take a company that's already got a reputation, but you utilizing the old and the new. I don't want to call
Mm.
Scott old. He won't like that. Oh, and Andy, but massaging that and articulating how to take what is already there and the trajectory going forward. And Brett, his son, runs the marketing department. So wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he does a fantastic job for us. Yeah.
So what are your and Ken's, what do we see in 5 years for the firm?
Um, I think we're not trying to recreate it, right? I mean, as you stated, this has been a company that's had a wonderful reputation for so many years. And I think, I'll tell you what really interests the two of us when Scott came to us and said, I would like the two of you to purchase my company. That's what I'd really like. And we started to think about that. And we all have experiences in our careers, and some are great, and some maybe not so great. And I had been on both sides of things through acquisitions and change in ownership and management, and I really started to digest what Scott had said. And for me and Ken, uh, we decided this was the right move for us because here is a company that has built a legacy of over 40 years, and we felt like it was our turn to protect that legacy. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that we always think about, Wendy, is our culture, right? And when we think about culture, we think about trust, and we think about empowerment, and we think about autonomy and transparency, and inclusion. And think about that. If you can lead an organization under those principles, what that does for your existing team is incredible, because they come to work energized, they're engaged, and when somebody's energized and engaged, and they're happy, you are able to provide even higher level of service. And so it helps with employee retention, it helps with client retention. And as you well know, in the recruiting business, it
Mhm.
helps you on the recruiting side of things.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so we focus heavily on culture. I mean, there's obviously other things that we focus on. We're protecting the legacy of Scott Byron. We're focusing on the culture. We work on things of infrastructure and things like those. Those things aren't exciting. I mean, they have to be done in order to improve your business and ultimately your client experience. But the culture is a big piece for us. And I have to share this really quick story with you about culture.
Sure.
The um, the Illinois Landscape, it's a new name, is Illinois Landscape Contractors Association. I think it's Landscape Illinois. Just through their big annual conference where they have their trade show and educational things. And I started getting calls after the conference was over. I got multiple phone calls. I don't know how people got my number, but by the third phone call, what they were asking is, I want to learn more about Scott Byron and Company, and if there's any opportunities there. And I said, well, by the third call, I said, why us? Why are you contacting us as opposed to somebody else? And the individual said to me, because your team is the one walking around the conference saying that that is the best place they've ever worked in their career.
Mm.
And that is a testament to what Scott and Andy first started, is what Ken and I want to carry on. And so, that's how we think about things here.
Yeah, well, that's why you're here, and I have the chills because it just resonates with everything that we stand for and we want to help promote and share with people. So the vision I got, Gordon, was this diamond, started with this, and that you guys are polishing it, and it's actually expanding, and the energy from that diamond is growing, growing, growing. And so what was already a great company in the Midwest is now taking that and going across the nation. And
Yeah.
honestly, the actual company that you're creating and growing is almost like you could do consulting for other companies in our design build world and share with them, because if we could just all live that way,
Yeah.
imagine what it would be like. And I know
Right.
how you feel. You're not about, oh, that's the competition, I wouldn't want to
Oh,
share.
no.
So
Yeah.
that's the collaboration aspect of this. So share with us what you do to collaborate and how that fits into your growth trajectory.
Yeah, we're constantly in collaboration mode, right? You have to be. We work with a number of builders and interior designers and architectural firms, and we're constantly in trying to deepen those relationships, but also trying to form new ones. And so Powerhouse Smart is a great example of that. I mean, there is not a time that I go to an event and I don't come out of there having met new people or deepening my existing relationships. Naples is a great example of that, because when we went to Naples, there was a bunch of Chicago people there that we have done work with. And so it's strengthening those relationships and creating new ones. And so Matt Hudson's a great example of that. Met him for the first time in Naples, and we are now have had he and our team have had multiple conversations on how we can collaborate together, and it just continues to perpetuate. Peter Mueller, he just connected me with a wonderful meeting with of course Carrie McCormick, who her and I sat down last. It's just one after the other, and so I would say to people that if they are interested in collaborating, go on LinkedIn, uh, reach out to us, go through our website, call our office, whatever's easiest. And look who we're connected to on LinkedIn. If there is someone that you want to be connected to, and we can help facilitate that, we're here to help. It's as much about learning about other people and helping them that is anything else. And so Yeah, we do all kinds of stuff, and we a lot of it through PowerHouse, and so we're thankful to you for that.
And other organizations too, and we all consider them, like-minded communities, and we think you should be part of them. But I wanted to go back and say the link and the contact for everything for Gordon is going to be below. So please, please make this
Yeah.
even more, valuable, and go ahead and reach out. And Gordon, I just want to give you a huge compliment. I met you many years ago when you first started with Scott Byron, and
Hmm.
you were coming to events and you were participating, and you were, when I called you, you returned my phone call right away. Here you are, COO, and then you were co-owner, and
Yeah.
I can't, if I could share that bit of wisdom with everybody on this call. I mean, to collaborate really means to open yourself up and allow those connections and to follow
Yeah.
up. And they're not all going to turn out to be your next new job, but
Right.
helping other people when they get that call and just connecting with them all pays it forward and backwards and upside down, right?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you are truly the role model in collaboration. And I just want to thank
Um,
you, because whenever you RSVP to go to an event, I already know, oh, there's going to be so many people who are going to walk away and say, that was worth my time of attending that event.
that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so when Gordon was talking about Naples, he was talking about Naples, Southwest Florida.
Yeah.
And so that is just one of the areas that Scott Byron is growing and we're growing into. And he's actually, they're going to be attending, Ken and Gordon are going to be attending our Minnesota event. And not because they necessarily want to, do they're expanding into Minnesota, but you never know. They could be a client, and they have a lake house and it's in Minnesota, but more so to be that collaborative resource for our industry. So
Great.
the last thing I'm just going to ask you is helping humanity. And my God, just the way you're building your company with this true attitude of this culture. And that's a culture of excellence for both your employees and your clients. And that's why you have so much repeat business. Maybe share just a few things that you're doing to help humanity, just to inspire some people on this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, over our 40 years, we've been a part of a lot of organizations trying to help them. We work in a number of different communities, and so we feel responsible that we support those communities who have supported us and our families for so many years. Some of them are a safe place where, of course, helps those people who've experienced domestic abuse. We help the Boys and Girls Clubs in both Wisconsin and Illinois, cancer research with the University of Chicago, Lurie's children. Recently Ken and I were interviewed because we have proudly become a partner with the Highland Park Community Foundation that will be partnering with them for the next 5 years that we're very excited about. And that's an organization that does children's programs, youth counseling, helps seniors, people with disabilities. It's a wonderful organization. And then we do things that are really tied into what we do on a daily basis. Tree donations to a number of different communities. We've helped elementary schools, building them greenhouses, redoing their landscapes, their playgrounds. So just sort of all sorts of stuff. One thing that we do every year that's pretty cool is it's called the Great Perennial Divide, and it's done by the Chicago Community Garden Association. And we've been a part of it, and a number of landscape companies support this, and it's wonderful. But it provides over 9,000 perennial plants through about, on an average, about 75 gardens throughout the city of Chicago,
Wow.
to protect and preserve our beautiful gardens throughout our city of Chicago. And so those are just some of the things that we're a part of. And I will tell you this, Wendy, that Ken and I feel as owners now feel that we have a responsibility. What will be our philanthropic impact on our communities that we will create? We've done all these wonderful things for over 40 years, and obviously we will continue to support those. But he and I feel a responsibility to now create something that is he and I, and we are in talks. This will be more to come on that, but we're excited to start our own legacy in that way.
Oh, I just can't wait to watch and to be a small part of it. And really anyone who is really looking for a role model and wants to really build a company culture for growth and empowerment. And, regardless if you're in Illinois or any of the states we mentioned here, Scott Byron and Gordon and Ken, his partner, are wonderful people to follow and learn more about. And of course, always reach out to us, and we're happy to help in any way. Namaste. My gratitude, my dear friend, for being on this call, for being our a
Yeah,
partner sponsor again in 2025 for PowerHouse Smart, which is our networking membership community for luxury industry professionals. And also all the donation and work that you guys, whenever we have a nonprofit affiliate. So just everything that we do, and just mostly, I'm so blessed to have you in my life that I can
yeah,
pick up the phone or send a text, and I know you and I will be there to support each other for a long time.
absolutely, Wendy. It's such an honor and such a pleasure to do this. I appreciate you having me on. It really is. This is special.
It's a mutual love fest. Okay, I'm going to just let everybody go. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you next time. And reach out, you'll see the links.